I developed a very strong work ethic. I never missed a day of work, and I wanted to focus on getting out of the rat race. At 20 years old, I was thinking to myself that I wanted to be retired at the age of 40. And to my family, that sounded ludicrous. It was unachievable. You couldn't get it. You couldn't obtain that. So submit to the working grind like everyone else does. And that created a sense of anxiety in me to the degree where I was not going to relent until I got myself to the position where I wasn't going to have to work for money. Because I felt working for money was a stupid waste of my time. It was a waste of my energy, and there was a lot better things to be doing than to go to work for someone else. They're never going to appreciate you, not to the degree they should, or that you would want them to. So basically, to have a job or go out into the workforce is rather stupid. So now I know some people are going to scoff at that and say, well, everyone needs to work, they have to have a job, they have to have the ends meet, if you will. And I agree. But that's not a destination. Now, unfortunately, most people create that as their final destination because of procrastination, fear of failure, failure to observe the realities of having the resources, whether you accept the fact that you do or don't. Everyone has resources. There's absolutely zero excuses why within 10 years anyone can retire. Now, I'm not saying that you are going to retire a multi-millionaire, but you could certainly find a way to replace your current income. Now, if you could do that, think about it. Isn't that really the definition of being rich? Now, I'm not saying super wealthy in elite status, but to be rich is you're not working for money anymore. So if you find a way to replace your current income, even if it never goes up, if you just made ends meet, that's rich. Now, some of you would disagree with that because your definition of rich or wealthy or affluent is going to vary from mine. But I'm telling you from a storyline, this is how I came up from this. I came from a very, very modest upbringing, very modest start. So it was a 20-year plan for me. Now, for most of you, you won't subscribe to that. 20 years is too long. Sorry, let me go to the next video. Let me go to another YouTube mentor. Let me see who's selling the system. Okay, give me a process of, give me in 1, 2, 3, give me the profits and wash, rinse, repeat. I never really subscribed to that very long, initially because everyone's baptized in the same way with trading its indicators and buy and sell and this, that, and the other thing. But I found quickly that that wasn't the way to do it. And because I'm a very analytical person, I have a very technical approach to things. I'm methodical in a lot of ways, and I've always been that way. So if someone speaks to me, I'm always analyzing what's their alternative motive. What's their ulterior motive? And maybe there isn't one, but I'm always thinking that. I'm always trying to decipher, get to the root cause of problems, because that's where the solution resides. In the American society, we're trained to accept the problem and just grind through it. I don't subscribe to that view. I subscribe to the fact that there is an alternative solution to our present condition that is working too much for too little. So I had to submit to a long-term process because I had readily admitted that my aptitude for it was probably going to be insufficient. So therefore, I allowed myself up to the age of 40 years old before I would really consider myself proficient, success, whatever. Okay, so I was already building in a far and wide definition of success, and I gave it a long-term deadline. Now, if you're living with your folks, or if you're living with family members, or if you're living with a person that you don't really want to be with, but because of necessity you have to be there, that is many times a very toxic environment. And when I began trading, I kept it quiet. I didn't tell anybody what I was doing because I already knew what the answer was going to be.
And the only thing I've done for the first 6 months of this year was what I promised I was going to do. I was going to teach you exactly how to go in and find these setups and prove to you that they're consistent and prove that you can make real money, not just demo dollars. You can make real money doing it. Not all of you are going to make money every single day. You're going to lose. And guess what? I've proven that losing doesn't really change anything. But if your mindset is not accurate, or not accurate, but right, losing can derail you. And that's why I talk to you like this. That's why I give you these motivational speaks and sessions and kind of like an attaboy, attagirl, that type of thing that, prod you along. Because it's easy to be influenced by short-term adversities because your friends and your family and your work, where you pimp your life out for a small amount of money, you spend more time there than you spend with me. So that negative cloud that's always over top of you, the people that are around you, that you hopefully look at them as a support structure, your friends and family, none of them are going to tell you what you want them to say. They're not going to say, you know what, Brian? You fucking deserve this. You deserve this. You've worked your ass off. You've done everything right. If there's anybody out there that deserves this, you do. And damn it, get out there and take it. Nobody's going to do that for you. Your spouse ain't going to do it. So let me remind you for the last time, stop looking to be validated outside of yourself because they're never going to do it. You need to be your own cheerleader. You are the person that drags your ass out of bed and says it's time to go to work. Period. You do that. Well, guess what? You got to use that same moxie to get your ass out of whatever you're doing when you're not at work, and you have to study. You have to study. You got to pour into this everything. Do it for a year. It's 1 year, folks. 1 year. Why a year? Because you're going to see all the seasonal influences that take place over the full calendar year. That's experience. That's a perspective that you cannot appreciate until you see it. Then you have that going into the next year. And if you journaled, you compare and contrast. When you start a new month, okay, what did I experience last September? What did I experience last October? And what was it like the last 3 weeks of December? And what was it like in January? You're going to have something as a baseline, and you do that every single year. But I'm going to tell you something, folks. Once you have consistency, let me tell you something, what's never going to happen. You're never going to want to talk about what you're doing to your friends and family anymore. You're not going to want to do that because you're going to know right away, these people work. And there's nothing wrong with working, folks. But working folks don't like to see other people get out of that livestock pen. They don't want to be championing somebody else because that would be like taking energy and directing it towards someone else to do well instead of directing it to themselves and for them to do well. So why are you surprised? They're indoctrinated. You're not going to wake them up. You're not going to stir them up by you telling them that you're going to work soft and you're going to learn how to do this and you're going to speculate way more income, way more potential than any other job that you would ever fall into or get degrees with. It ain't never going to be compared. It isn't going to be in the same vicinity, the neighborhood, the zip code. You're not going to get anywhere close to the fucking money that you can make doing this. If that bothers you because I'm using this language, I don't give a shit. Because I'm tired of people tiptoeing and dancing around, boo-hooing that they don't have this figured out yet. What's stopping you? You have it now. It's done. It's on those videos. Study it. You got to work for it. It doesn't mean I watch the videos, therefore I should know. No, you watch the videos and I tell you what you should be looking for. Then you have to do the work. You have to do that. If you fail, I did not fail you. You failed you. Own it, man. Own it.